Hello everybody, this is Mike from MBoxWave.com. I just got into a long position on this morning's Emini Dow Jones. I got in right here after this triple algo. Put my stop right under this swing point. So I'm going to go over the analysis and then we'll see what happens, but it looks like we are making all-time new highs. So this is interesting, and at the same time we got to manage the trade correctly, since there's not much to compare to in terms of a previous support or resistance level. But anyway, so markets opened up here 9:30, right? We came down here and then markets started to reverse, right? So what's interesting here is that I saw a supply exhaustion pattern right from the beginning, right? Because here at 9:30 we have this box coming down, and look how much supply we have here. And then we have a bigger box, but there's less supply, and then there's less and less, and then there's none, right? When I compared this to the previous day, look at this selling spike right here. It's like twice as much as any box supply we had in the previous day. So this tells me that it just looks like a climax, right? And let's see about here. It also, see, the cumulative selling also exceeds the previous day. But what's interesting, so we had all this selling, we had like this huge spike of selling, and then bam, it dries up right away, right? It dries up right away, selling exhaustion, and then absolutely no supply here, right? And then we get a nice triple algorithm here to buy. So this kind of pattern to me is, when I see it, I take it. We've got everything in our favor from what it looks like to me. So let me start writing this out. Supply exhaustion. That's this arrow here. Got the color wrong. That's okay. Okay, we'll change it. So supply exhaustion. Right, that's this. Alright, so we had the selling climax. So this was a climax. Alright, got the color wrong again. That's alright. So this was a selling climax because it was like twice as much as the previous day, and it's a huge amount of supply. And I conclude that it's a climax. I mean, the market didn't reverse right after it, but we had the supply exhaustion right after it, right? So it counts, right? And it's more than 2 times the previous day. All right, looks like we're already over 2 grand in profit, 2,500. So kind of my strategy, I guess, before I get on with analysis, my strategy for managing this trade, I think we have a strong position. It looks strong to me. Let the market go for a little bit. I'll be watching the technical analysis. So I think that, we'll just play it by ear. So I'll continue with the analysis here. All right, so after the supply exhaustion, we have a clear no supply here. I mean, it's crystal clear, no supply. Bam, there's just nothing, right? Now, the demand looks like it began appearing here. It doesn't look like much, but it looks like ease of movement, and the price confirms it. So we've got the MBox demand, and we have the ease of movement. Now I've got the opposite problem. All right, got the colors. It's distracting talking at the same time, but that's fine. See, so compare these boxes. We got these 2 nice blue boxes going up, right? We've got this demand coming in. Doesn't look like much, but it's ease of moving because price shot up and it didn't really take all that much buying. And the reason that it made sense is because the selling climax, we had the supply exhaustion, so it looks like price just wants to skyrocket. And so the triple algorithm looks like it gave off a great signal right here. Right, we had contraction here. So at the time of the trade, right, let's see, where do we have it? So at the time of the trade, it was, yeah, it was switching over to buying. So we had this contracting here. So cumulative selling is contracting. All right, and what's interesting here, I also saw this divergence in the pace because look, we got this and we've got a lot of selling, right? And then and the speed of the bids, you know, is high. And then the speed of the bids here looks, it's about the same. It's a little more than there, but there's no supply here. I mean, it's very little compared to it. So it's like a pace of bids with a you know, MBox supply divergence plus MBox supply divergence. All right, we're already almost 4 grand in profits. I think we're looking good so far. We'll see what happens. So again, because look, we had this huge pace of bids here and we had a lot of selling here. Huge pace here, almost no selling. This is where the supply exhaustion is happening. So it looks like everything is dried up. So we have all these points and then we have this triple algorithm. All right, let's not forget about that. We have the triple algorithm. We've got the +2 buy imbalance. We've got the Stooges buy signal, and we've got a pullback buy signal. All right. Let's get that in there. All right. So I want to also, you see this blue line right here? I drew that because during the, you know, early morning hours around, you know, if we zoom back, right here, we made an all-time high, you know, early in the morning, you know, about 147. So I drew a line from that high, and, you know, after we opened, we came back to it, and the triple algorithm happened around this line. And, you know, we see that price is returning to this line, and we have the supply exhaustion. So this is an important, you know, resistance line that is broken, and it's broken on increasing demand, right? So we've got, you know, demand came in, and we broke through that line. All right, so let's count how many, you know, points of confluence we have here. So we've got the buy and balance means there's more buying than selling on this down move. We've got the Stooges buy, pullback buy, so that's already 3 points, right? We've got the MBox demand plus the ease of movement. That's another 2 points. That's 6 points, right? We've got the selling climax, right? That's 7 points. This is also an effort, no result. If you compare this box and this box, it's been a lot more and produced less. So I can write that down, but that's 8 points. We have supply exhaustion, that's 9 points. No supply here, that's 10 points. We have cumulative selling contracting, 11 points. We have a pace of bids plus MBox supply divergence. So I'm counting at least 12 points. To me, it seems like a strong, very strong trade setup. So at least 12 points. And like I said, this selling climax, you know, is also an effort, no result when you compare it to this, right? So look at the size of this box and compare it to this. It's been a lot more selling, produced a lot less than this one. So it's like a 2-in-1. All right, so all right, it looks like we're correcting a bit here. You know, let's get in, you know, the latest. So, you know, we've got demand definitely we see came in here. Unbox demand. I need to, it's kind of cramped, but okay, so MBox demand came in here. And, you know, we crossed over the, you know, cumulative buying. All right, so, and now it looks like you see the pace of the offers were outpacing the bids. Well, it began to with this move after we see that this was climactic. All right, so pace of offers outpacing bids. And when I say that, I'm comparing, you know, to these because I'm viewing this as the divergence and as climactic. So after that, the pace of offers are outpacing the bids. All right, so let me put the record on pause, and then, you know, we'll come back when there's you know, we see a little bit more. All right, so some interesting things happened, and I got into another position here. But so let me talk about what was going on. So we went up here, we were in good profits, and then actually it corrected quite a bit, right? Didn't take us out. I still have my stop here, and you know, just setup seemed really strong with the triple algorithm, and we had all this selling climax and supply exhaustion, and we're making all-time new highs. So I think that there is more to this move, but you know, the market moves in ways, tries to get, you know, people out because you know, and looking at it now, you know, there's psychological levels, right? If we look at right here, about 32,500, that's where it kind of went funny, you know. And so that's like a psychological level right here. It kind of went funny, and then it came back to this previous, you know, support resistance line that I drew, and it was resistance. We broke through it, and now it acted as support. And so price held. It bounced right off of it. It didn't really produce much supply. We're not seeing huge demand, strong demand, but we are making all-time highs. So, you know, that's what counts here. And so as it hit the now support line, we kind of saw a climax right here in the we see kind of like a climactic pace of bids. All right. All right, climactic pace of bids. And we didn't have that much selling. I mean, there was some selling. It just didn't seem like that much. So, you know, I'm still going bullish on this one because we're making all-time highs, and all-time highs is a bullish thing. So I added a position after this pullback right here, right? So we had this nice pullback buy signal. We had this nice pullback buy signal. We bounced off of this support line. We had a climactic pace of bids. This looked like, you know, very weak supply here. You know, to me this still looks like no supply. So the question is, the $1 million question now is, how high can it go? You know, um, I still see it as bullish. So um, how high can we go here? You know, and if we zoom out, we don't see much. So let's see. I threw my take profit up here. Um, Probably I'll be watching the technical analysis. My gut is telling me, we're in. It looks like it's a trend, and when it's a trend, it's kind of tricky, you know. So I'll be watching the technical analysis, and I'll put this at. See, I saw how good that psychological level here worked, 32,500. I'll just throw it up at 32,600 for now, and then we'll see how the trade pans out. You know, so even though we don't see strong demand here, everything that we saw is still in play, right? We don't see a lot of selling or anything, so all this analysis is still in play. That's why I I still feel good about the long position. All right, so I'll put the record on pause. Um, I'll just be watching this and then come back and then give my analysis. Um, all right, so I'll put the record on pause and let's see what happens. All right, so it's over. We are almost 14 grand in profits, $13,750. That was quite a ride. Let me turn on the order fills. All right, so first position here at this here, second position right here, and I got out here. All right, I ended up writing it until the 32,600, and it's interesting how it's going, with when something is trending and it's an all-time high, we're creating new all-time highs. It's could be kind of tricky, but it looked like price just kept going up and up and up and up, so it kept on holding. It's interesting here is we don't see like huge demand here, right? We saw a lot of demand here, and look at this, doesn't look as big as this, right? But we're making still all new highs, and I felt comfortable enough holding it because of this selling climax. I mean, this selling climax, the fact that it was just so huge compared to the previous day, it looked like, it just looked like the markets were oversold, right? That's what it looked like. Looked like the markets were oversold. And so when I saw the demand ease of movement, the triple algo, um, you know, I got in and then, wrote it out, you know, and just ended up writing it to 32,600 as a psychological level. I think that's fine. I don't like that it's this extended and we're not seeing huge demand. So, this is probably a good place to exit anyway. I could have gotten in another position here, but I already had two positions in, and I thought that was good enough. Anyway, so I mean the triple algorithm worked out beautifully. We took some heat, but sometimes you gotta hold. The analysis was strong, so even though price went against me here, the initial analysis was really strong, 12 points of confluence. I kept on holding. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Anyway, that's it for me today. Very happy with the over 13 grand in profits. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.